Welcome to Thought Leaders, featuring interviews with some of the best minds in the industry. Today's special guest is best-selling author, popular platform speaker, and certified financial planner, Michael Morrow. Hello everyone, I'm Steve Savant, syndicated financial columnist and talk show host. Today we're talking about delayed sales gratification, all from Michael's book, The Loyalty Edge, and his popular series, Ideas for Advisors. Well, when I first saw the title of this, I have to say, I said, delayed gratification. Are you kidding? We're in America, 21st century. We want it now.
Absolutely.
There's no such thing as delayed gratification. But then your book, The Loyalty, it actually talks about some of this stuff and why this is so important.
Yeah.
Why are we talking about in this segment? Because it's really going to open up some eyes, I think.
Well, I think that if you take a career approach to your business is the first thing, that you're gonna when you have tough days for starters, it's going to be a little bit easier to get through them when you realize that your whole life is done a little bit at a time on the installment plan. And that brings me to something that everybody, I've been to all kinds of conferences, in the last 27 years, read all kinds of books, and everybody just constantly says to go after the big client or the big prospect. But the thing is if you look at who your biggest clients are in your book of business, I think that you're going to find that they were small or medium-sized clients when you first got them. And so you need to take them maybe when they're small or when they're medium-sized.
Well, I'm talking about gratification. Everybody's trying to close on the first sale.
Yeah.
Everybody's trying to get to the top tier client on the first year in the business. All these things I think are fantasies, actually, for most people. Unless you're kissed into the business through nepotism, or maybe your father gave you his business practice.
Yep.
I mean, people go through this all the time. And so I think there's a little bit of fantasy in our minds that we're going to be able to go to the top of the line, front of the line, and be top of the table, Form 400 producers, when really it takes a little effort here.
It absolutely does. And a bank in the U.S. did a study once, and they found out that the top third of their client base generated about 150% of their revenue. And they found that the middle third of their client base generated between 0 and 20% of their revenue. And then they found that they'd lost on their smaller clients a substantial amount of their revenue. And if you look at that on the surface, you say, well, let's just get rid of all of our small clients right away. And I'm not here encouraging you to go out and find small people. But I want you to remember that everybody's an individual and has goals and objectives and is counting on you to help solve their problems. And it ultimately, if you look at your entire book of business right now, who your top clients are and who your middle clients and your bottom clients are, and then you look over a period of years, you're going to see some of your bottom clients become middle clients, some of your middle clients become top clients, and also some of your top clients, because maybe they're pulling money out or because you're growing faster than they are, become middle clients or maybe leave. And so I think it's important that you do generate most of your revenue off of your top clients. And I think that you should focus your time and your attention on the people who deserve your attention. But also, you need to make sure that you focus an adequate amount of time to your middle and bottom clients, because they're in essence your farm team. Okay, so in your practice, you didn't come to this overnight. No.
So you were in practice for a little while until you started discovering, I have 3 tiers of clientele, how you've described it. And I think I could have come to that conclusion. Yeah, I know. I just need to stay with my top clients and spend my time there. But I'm losing retention. And a lot of the questions that we have today in popular market advisors is, Steve, I'm having a hard time with client retention. I mean, it's a war zone out there. People are stealing my guys, and I don't know how to keep them. And I need a pretty solid base in case I lose one of my big hitters.
Absolutely. And the thing is that if you're not focusing, if you're not, generating an adequate amount of time to your bottom and to your middle clients, if you're just focusing all your time on your top clients, as they leave, you're not going to have any loyalty from your middle and bottom clients. And there's so many advisors I meet that they're like 15 years in the business or 20 years in the business. And what happened is they lost their focus a little bit. And now all of a sudden they're there and they're in a spot and they're frustrated and they're stuck. And now you got to go back to the people who you need, maybe your middle clients, and it'd be like being a pro team, be the New York Yankees, and all you do is just focus on them. Well, you know what? They have a farm team with people that they're developing. And the farm team has a farm team with people they're developing. And you absolutely make your money and all that on your top clients, but you certainly do need to focus on the other ones because they are going to be your top clients. And again, how do I know that? Just go and look at your book of business. I looked at my book of business as, okay, who are my top clients today? I can tell you for sure that they're not the same people that they were 10 years ago.
That's huge when you think about how they've grown as you've grown.
Yeah.
And how you've been in the business 27 years.
Yes.
How many of your people can you say you have maybe a huge sector of people that have been with you 15, 20 years?
Absolutely. I've got lots of people who have been with me for 15 or 20 years. And the thing that I think
and you know their family, their children, their kids, aspirations.
Absolutely.
You're all over it.
But to be fair, I could be doing a lot better on that than I am, even though I've given all these ideas of things that we're doing. But the thing that I think was the most important thing for me is I can still remember the first day when I was driving in. I was 24 years old. I was driving to the office, and I just made a commitment to myself that I was sticking with this no matter what. Because if you go, well, I'll give it a try for a year, 2 years, see what happens, it gives you an excuse to fail. But if you don't look at the job an excuse to fail, when things aren't going as well as they could be going for you or for me or for everybody out there, if you don't have the option of quitting, what happens is there's a path out there, and it's ultimately your job to find it, and you will find it if you realize that you're here. But the key thing is when I took a career approach, whether I make my revenue on you today or it's 5 years from now or it's 10 years from now, my focus right from the very beginning of my career was to keep my clients. Have we lost clients? Absolutely. We've lost tons of clients over the years, but we kept more than we've lost. And it just has been, by taking a career approach, it's just really, really changed the way that we've looked at our business.
We'll be right back with more from Michael Morrow.
This is your website. Few people visit, and if it isn't attracting new visitors, it's not doing its job. Now you can drive more visitors to your website through dynamic content and email marketing with CreativeOne's Social Media Elite. Capture quality leads faster and easier. Engage your visitors with informative articles and videos to boost your online credibility. Plus, stay connected with existing clients and earn more referrals. All content is customized for you. It's time to introduce your website to the world. Call your CreativeOne sales team at 800-992-2642 or visit us online at CreativeOne.com.
Well, welcome back, everyone. We're continuing our interview with Michael Morrow on delayed sales gratification, all from Michael's book, The Loyalty Edge, and his popular series, Ideas for Advisors. I'm one of those guys that are always in the trap. I am into immediate gratification.
Everybody is, and I am too.
And it takes time to really step back and forget about your gratification and taking care of things that need to be taken care of. Now, when you talk about this in your book, you talk about defining your vision, and I'm thinking like people define their vision, they change it. It's so relative. Every day it changes. There's no absolutes. There's no reference point. But you think this is a big deal for an advisor to lay down a defined vision?
Well, just keep asking yourself over and over again why you're in this business to start out with, and what are the reasons you came into this business, and what are the reasons that you want to stay in this business. This is a wonderful business, for somebody who wants to work hard and use their head, but for somebody who wants to get really fast results, I don't think this is a very good business. And everybody here who's been in this business for any period of time knows somebody that got off to a really, really fast start, and then a couple of years later they were out of the business for one reason or the other. But if you know why you're in the business, you got certain goals, and you focus on, the fact that if you talk to enough people, if you ask enough of the right people to buy enough, if you ask enough of the right people to buy enough, regardless of what happens to you today or this week or this month, if you're doing the right things on a consistent basis, you're going to arrive unshakably at the very, very top of this business. But it takes time.
If you're willing to look at this as a career, and I'm thinking of if I was a young person coming into this business, it's a tough business today.
Yeah.
Think about if we had to drop back and start all over again, and you were a young man in your early to late 20s, and you're just starting in our business. Yeah. I mean, you'd need some mentoring. You'd need some person to take you under their wing. But you'd have to identify goals. And I think when you're young, I don't even know if we know what we're doing when we're doing it.
You know what? I think that's something that somebody told me, and this was probably the second sales congress that I went to. It was actually a really good friend of mine. His name's George Sigurdsson from Winnipeg, Manitoba. And he explained to me, he said that when you come in this business, everybody sells you this big, beautiful butterfly on what the business looks like. But the thing is that you're a caterpillar for about the first 5 years in this business. And what your goal is for the first 5 years in the business is just to not get stepped on. You just need to, if you can make it for 5 years, you should, and by doing the right things and doing them on a consistent basis, You're going to have all the skill set and work ethic and that it is going to be a great career. But it does take 5 years probably. I think that it is probably harder starting out in this business than it was when I started in 1989. But you know what? Ultimately, you still have to be successful. You still have to make a living. And whether it is harder, whether it's not harder today than it was at one point in time, here's where you are. So either stay in the business and commit yourself to it, or there's a lot of easier ways to make money than be in this business just for a short period of time.
Talk about something that you're really important in your book. You talk about building systems to support what you're doing. I see this on Shark Tank. I've seen it on The Prophet, Marcus Simonis, whatever his name is. He talks about people, process. He's got this down to a science. You have adopted the same thing many years ago.
We've done different things, and we've done all kinds of different things over the years. And one of the things that we've done over the last couple of years, and we use a contact management software, and we used it, putting all the stuff together was a huge undertaking. We got in way deeper than we ever thought we should. But because I knew I was going to be sticking around for a while, we decided to keep plugging away at it. And now we have the right systems and processes with our contact management system, with how we do our proper client follow-ups and stuff like that, that basically when we come in, it says, here's the people you need to talk to this week or this month or whatever it happens to be. We have automated people on lists where we send out, we have a technical newsletter, and we have certain people on that. We have another newsletter that's for all people, and another one that's, just different things where it goes to people, but it's systematized. But it took us a long time to get there. I don't want you to think for a moment that we didn't have huge frustrations with doing it. And, we basically had to put it on the shelves and come back to it 6 months later because we're just too busy. But over a period of time, because we stuck with it, it's easy for us now, but it wasn't then.
How long have you been using the process that you have in place?
The process that I've been using with the contact management system has been for about 2 years. It actually has only gotten going really good, I can say, for about the last 6 months. When I came down here to do this show, we sent out a newsletter, and I had 2 clients call me because they got our newsletter, and it wasn't anything that was very complicated. We just sent out, here's the year in review and the forecast for the following year. And we just sent it out with a quick 2-sentence email saying, I thought you might find this of interest. If there's anything you want to talk about, let us know. And you know what? I was down here and I got 2 calls.
So even then, you were a vet for a long time. Only now you're really kind of getting the processes in place. Yeah. So it really does take some time to weed out the things that don't work and then put in place the components of success.
That's right. But while you're doing that, you still have to make a living. And you can't just shut your business down while you're doing all this stuff. So what we do is we constantly remind ourselves. I went and I analyzed our business, and we get 68% of our revenue comes from the top 30% of our clients. And 68%. So when I'm driving to work in the morning, I remember that 68% of my bills are being paid by those top 30%. So we make sure that we do allocate our time appropriately to them because they're the ones who pay for all of our vacations, pay for all the good things that happen. But at the same point in time, we make sure we have the proper systems and processes that we're looking after the people that are paying the other portion of our revenue, the other 32%, because they're our farm team, and we really need most of those people.
Well, for more information on today's topic, just click on the landing page address in the video description on YouTube, where you can watch all our shows, seminars, workshops, and visit us out on our website. I'm Steve Savant. We'll see you next time on the Thought Leadership Series. And remember, keep thinking outside the box.